We're here at the Liebherr booth. In front of us here is the 9400. If you want to introduce yourself and then tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah. So my name is Michel Ronza. I'm working for Liebherr in the Colmar factory in France. So the Colmar factory in France is building the complete shovels on the complete range, starting on 100 ton, going up to 800 ton machines.
So as we stand here, why don't we talk a little bit about the bucket here? It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, so this is the bucket, and you see also the Liebherr GETs, because we have also our own GETs. So the buckets are completely designed in Colmar, and after they are built in several parts of the world, it's always a design which is depending on the customer need regarding the kind of GETs they would like to have, because now we have the Liebherr GETs, but we can also implement Esco, Hensley, or other brand names. And after also the wear packs they want to have inside. And after also regarding the density, the final density you have on the mine side, the volume will be adapted to what you have.
Yeah, it's very impressive. So we're over on the side of the machine here now, and what you'll see here is that there is an emergency exit down the front of the machine, and that is right below the front of the cab. Now that cab is a bulletproof design.
Yeah.
I'll let you talk about that for a minute here.
Yeah, so the bulletproof design is especially if you have some stones coming from the digging operation. Nothing more to say. And after you have this emergency exit, because you have the one way where you can climb to the machine, which is on the back. But because of the CE certification, you must also have an escape route, which is different to the access to the machine. That's why we have this in the front. So when everything is aligned, you have also a ladder on the undercarriage. But if not, you have also like a cord ladder inside of the small box at the bottom part here.
Sure. So, and in addition, while we're here talking about the undercarriage, on the inside of the slew, you said there's something that sets Liebherr apart from the competition as well.
Yeah, because it's a Liebherr slewing, because we are building our own and designing our own slewing. What is funny today is to know that the Komatsu, for example, and also the Hitachi are buying some Liebherr slewing because the lifetime is very good. But we have an internal teeth system, so you cannot see the teeth from the outside. We have everything internal. And what we have also introduced in the last couple of months is the BCM, which is a bearing condition monitoring system. So we can really know what is the wear inside of the slewing ring, just to give information to the guy, okay, you have now to replace it or not. The normal lifetime for a slewing like this is 30,000 hours plus.
That's incredible.
But now, if you have the conditioning monitoring, you can even now extend this life according to what you have.
Yeah, that's incredible. And again, the extended service life was talked about a little previously in that press conference, and that was very impressive.
After you see, for example, we have the cab elevation here. We have also a small device you can see on the side. This is just to pressurize the cab elevation to avoid that the dust is going in. You have other feature like the coverings to see on the attachment that are aluminium covers, because if you see the cover here on the undercarriage, or I would say on the chassis,
sure,
a cover like this, yeah, the weight is approximately 45 to 50 kilograms. If you're taking the same side of cover in aluminium, you are less than 50 kilograms. So for us, it's also something where we are putting a lot of attention, especially for the diversity and inclusion, to reduce the weight of the components, what you have to handle, especially when you're on the height, because after, what are you doing with this weight, etc. So you can have back pain, back problems, etc.
Sure.
So we want to reduce the weight of the parts also you have to handle when you are doing normal maintenance.
And on top of that as well, as you save weight on the boom and stick, you increase your capacity at the end.
Exactly, you can increase a little bit the capacity.
So we're gonna walk around the back now and show you a little bit about the reel of this machine. So we're under the back of the machine here. You can see the reel system for the cable. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, the reel system is not something new. We are just showcasing this now on this machine here, but it's not something new. We are doing this for decades. And just for information, the first electric mining machine built by Liebherr was in 1981. So the main features about the cable reeler, you can have a cable up to 300 meters. It depends really what is the size of the cable, and the size of the cable depends on some external conditions. For example, the heat. If you're going in very, very hot environment, the cable is a little bit bigger because the insulation. So we can go between 150 and 300 meter cable on the drum itself. After the drum is activated through a hydraulic motor, Some of the competition is using electric drive for the reeler, but it's just another philosophy. But at the end, the thing is the same. One thing which is really noticeable on the 9400 and also for the cable reel we are installing on our machine is on the bottom part here. You can see this massive structure here. It's like a bed, which can carry 1/3 of the weight of the machine, because we know that in the mine site sometimes when it's raining the machine are thinking in the ground, so you can have the ground touching the bottom part of the center girder.
Sure.
So we are aligned. We are not losing ground clearance. That's the first thing. And even if the machine is now thinking, we can really protect the cable drum from all the rocks and everything what is coming from the underground.
And in a mine, these are in a very harsh environment, so that's a very important.
It's a very important feature, yeah. This was a feedback from the customer, and it was not easy to design everything and to bring everything into the place, because you need also to have access, you need to have the clearance. The guy must also be able to go in the side here, because you have like a connection with the high voltage on the back. So you have to, all the elements has to be taken into account in the design, or during the design.
As we said earlier, this machine is fully electric.
Yep.
Which, if you lose, if a piece of rock or something hits your cable and damages it, you're losing the operation of your machine until you can repair or replace it.
Yep.
So protecting that reel is really important.
That's really important. And the clearance giving us also another benefit, because we would like to push also the possibility to use backhoe machine with an e-drive. Mostly when we are talking about e-drive machines, the guys are thinking face shovel, but we are really convinced that the backhoe machine can also work. And on a backhoe machine, you have to climb into the bench. And when climbing the bench, you will have the ramp. And when you're climbing the ramp, you will have the reel, which will be very close to the ground.
Sure.
And this will also protect the reel when you're climbing the bench or going down, for example.
Yeah. So let's head up top and we'll check out the cab and then some of the other features up there.
Okay.
So we're up in the cab of the Liebherr 9400 here. And why don't you tell us a little bit of what we have here in terms of controls and cameras and gauges and everything?
Yeah. So the layout of the cabs for the mining machines are pretty always the same. Mm-hmm. You have the operator seat, and after you have also a trainer seat on this side, because the guys have a lot of training. You have also the guys from the production coming and sitting beside of the operator to look how it's going. And after for the operator, what is really important is to have just the main information here on the screen. You have the 2 joysticks. That's exactly the same as a normal digger. If you are starting for a small 1-ton digger, for example, it's exactly the same movements. After we have also some security with the different cameras and the mirrors you can see on the outside. So the aim is really to give a 360 view around the machine. We have also some options with an additional display where you can see like a bird view, or for us the name is the sky view. So you see the machine from the top, with also a circle giving you the swing circle of the machine, and another circle giving you when the fully extended attachment, just to see if something is between these 2 circles, you know that you can hit it with the bucket. After you see also that it's really a big windscreen, it's bulletproof on the front and also on the side, because if you have an hydraulic failure, for example, you must protect the operator. Sure. And you see also here in the front you have the escape ladder, because we are CE certified. So because we are building the machine in Europe, it's CE certified, and the CE certification requests that you have the normal exit through the door. You must have another exit, which is this window, so you can climb over the secondary air conditioning, and you can also escape in another route compared to the access of the machine, which is the ladder from the back.
I see here this looks like a pin. Does that release this
yeah,
lever system?
You can release because they are mounted on hinges. Mm-hmm. You can release the louvers, you can open it, and also that's why the handrail on the outside a little bit higher is just to
help you get out there.
Protection if you're going down.
Sure. So, and you're talking about protecting the operator here. So, behind the camera here, we've got a whole bunch of very large hydraulic lines running up the boom here. So that's, you're talking about in the event of a line or a fitting failure, to protect the operator from that very high pressure coming in and shattering shattering the window and injuring the operator, whether it's heat or pressure. And you know, the same with that front screen, but this is a mining shovel, so you're going to have a lot of you know, rock and whatever, you know,
especially
actually,
when you have very hard rock application.
Sure.
You have a lot of stones coming, and we see a lot of stones coming directly to the windscreen.
Sure.
That's why sometimes you have some failures, but the thing is not to have a completely break of the windscreen. That's why it's a 3-layer. It's 21 or 23 millimeter thick, so it's really bulletproof. You can use a gun and you cannot shoot.
Yeah. So again, with not just this machine, but all the machines here today, it's a big focus of efficiency and safety.
The most important is the safety for the operator, and also the second thing what we are really working on is to give as much as possible assistance systems to the operator to ease the operation. The guy is sitting here in the cab between 10 and 12 hours a day, because that's the normal shift in the different mine sites. So when you are sitting at something, you see it's really quiet here inside. You have also a lot of space, the lighting, everything is really important. The ergonomy, we're having a lot of ergonomic and engineers in the factory looking how you have to manage the joysticks, the placement of the joysticks, what are the adjustments for the seat. You have also the seat belt, so this is a normal seat belt just going over your chest, but you have also the 3-point seat belts or the 4-point seat belts. So we have different options and different levels. Some of the customers are requesting these kind of things. You have emergency stops. You have another one here because we're here on an E-drive. You have a special emergency stop which is cutting the high voltage, etc., etc. So for us, operator, the guy is sitting here every single day, so he has to be very comfortable.
And I want to say something here regarding that. You're saying that the sound levels is quiet in here. What you guys can't see behind the camera here is to the side of us, Liebherr is giving their hourly news conference where they give an update on a lot of the stuff that's going on here, and it's very loud out there. And you
open the door.
Yeah, here, if we...
very good operator feedback.
And with that, you can see just how loud it is outside, and in here, it's, you know, you could whisper. So.
And we have 2 air conditioning systems. So it's always 2, because if one is failing, so one is a backup. So one is running for 6 hours after you're changing over to the other one, because both have to run just to be sure that everything is working. But double air conditioning system is just a must today in the mining industry.
Yeah, so that's another feature there that's tailored to the comfort of the operator.
Exactly. And after you can see here, you have all the basic information. Now with the next generation, we'll also move a lot of these LEDs and these buttons directly into the touchscreens. Here you have, for example, the control system for the greasing system, and this will all come together now in a new screen, which will locate it here, which also give a lot of other opportunities, like, for example, having a Wi-Fi signal directly on the machine if you have to do some troubleshootings, etc., etc.
Sure, that's fantastic. So behind us here, a lot of those hoses we were talking about earlier in the cab. If you want to talk more about what's in this area.
So here you have the core of the machine. So that's the valve banks. You have the main pumps feeding the valve banks, and you have spools inside which are going after to the cylinder. So that's really the core of the machine, because this arrangement is really the start of design of the machine. And after you see the arch hoses, the connection between the upper carriage and the attachment, you see that we are trying as much as possible to be online to reduce the pressure drops, because this is one of the most important things, is not to lose efficiency in the hydraulic. We also standardize the different things. For example, the hose is always the same for the complete ramp. You do not have to change to another part number. You have only one part number on stock, and this is used for all the things. What I also have to say is, you see this block here on the side. So that's the bleed down manifold. It's a new features we are implementing now and giving from the factory. And this gives you the possibility to depressurize or remove the pressure from the hydraulic circuit. Because when the guy has to go and to start to open a hydraulic circuit and you have some stored energy, it's very dangerous, because if you have some oil going into the blood, it's a contamination and you have to go to the hospital. So with this kind of systems here, you can just put a manometer, and for every single movement you can release completely the pressure to the tank, and you can be sure that you have no more pressure stored on the machine, and you can have a safe work and a safe maintenance.
That's incredible. So this having all the same fittings is huge, because anybody that's worked on any kind of equipment knows that as soon as you go to another hose and it's another fitting size, you have to go get another part. It's a big pain.
What you can also see is here we have the access to the monoblock. Okay, now that's not the position where you have to climb on it.
Sure.
So we have a special position, and after you can directly go to the monoblock, because the guy are going approximately once a month to have a check, a visual check on the different links, the different coverings, the greasing system, etc. So we're always giving to all the machines the possibility to access to the boom, if it's for a face shovel or for a backhoe machine.
That's a lot of the theme of this machine seems to be very easily accessible for servicing and just everyday usage.
What I said just before on the cab is operator is one thing, maintenance is the other thing. If you cannot do a correct maintenance, you will not have uptime on the machine, and it will be just like big mess.
Yeah. So let's head downstairs. So we made it down to the engine room. I guess it's an electric machine, but the motor room, I guess. If you want to talk a little bit about what we're standing next to here.
That's the pump bay. So even if you have an electric drive, the hydraulic remains one-to-one the same.
Sure.
So you have the same pump arrangement as for the diesel machine, or if you have an alternative fuel engine, I would say. What you can see here, we have the Liebherr pumps. So we have 4. It's 2 double pumps, so we have 4 Liebherr pumps. Because Liebherr is also using a closed loop circuit for the swing, we have a dedicated pump only for the swing. This gives you a little bit of energy recovery, but also a very big benefit in terms when you are combining the swinging and the lifting of the movement, because we have one dedicated pump just for that. Here you can see also a box, which is really useful when you have to do some troubleshooting, because you can see with the LEDs if it's orange or if it's green, if the signal is coming into the box or not. Because we are delivering a lot of machine into Australia, we have to follow the MDG15, and MDG15 gives you a segregation of the different hydraulic lines, how you have to implement and to install the different electric lines. That's why, for example, here on the electric you have always the clamps. You have this bracket, this big bracket, with the clamping all along.
Very clearly isolated.
Exactly, it's very isolated. Sure. Here on this side you can see the hydraulic lines, also with some mini messes here.
Sure.
So to put the manometer. All the blocks and everything is labeled. So if you're looking into the documentation, you will always find a reference to what you're looking for. You have also the part number here. So this is really clear. We have also some devices like this. This is if you have a fall arrest, because what you can do, you can open here. You can open here the door, and you can come from the outside with a special tooling we're also developing if you have to exchange the pump.
Sure.
And at the same time, when the guy has to do some tuning, you have a safety ladder here, so you can escape in case of fire or in case of accident.
Sure.
And now the future, what we are working on, is to make elimination of the live work. So with the new generation of machine, we are capable to monitor the pumps directly from the cabin, and we can also adjust the pumps directly from the cabin.
That's impressive. And going back to here, especially with the labeling and everything, we saw this over in the passage between the catwalk over there and this side. The labeling, and there's diagrams, there's labels, there's an individual label for the boxes. Is very impressive. Everything is neat. You can see where everything goes. It's all very clearly isolated. The layout is very well thought through. And
you can notice that the label is not only a normal label, it's like a plate, which is engraved. Because the guys are coming with high pressure guns to make a cleaning of the machine, and if you have just a normal label, it's gone. It's going away.
Sure.
That's why we have this really engraved plate, to be sure that it's really over the life it's there.
Yeah. It's an incredible attention to detail on here. So we'll move around and see you guys around on the other side. So we're standing here next to the actual electric motor and the compressor. Do you want to talk about these two components here?
Yeah. So we are working with General Electric for decades now. Also because we have a GE factory which is very close to our factory in Colmar. So we have a very good relationship with the guys. They're also very well known in the industry, so they are pretty reliable. The lifetime for such an electric drive is between 300,000 to 400,000 hours, which is even more than the life of the machine.
Sure.
And after, what you can see here, this big block, this is the air compressor which is used for the horn and also for the pressurization of the hydraulic tank, because the pumps, they do not have to suck the oil. You must have a positive pressure in the entrance of the pump. That's why we are pressurizing the oil.
Sure.
And beside of that, it's really a standard. Normally you should have here the diesel engine, so the splitter box and the connection, it remains exactly on the same position. Okay. It's just this part we are removing and replacing. When we are doing the conversion, because we are also providing conversion between a diesel engine and after we are going into an electric version, we have this big frame. It's the name for us, it's the power pack. So you can take this completely frame out and you can replace the frame and replace with a new one which has the eDrive directly installed.
Yeah, and we can see this, that's this gray here, right?
Exactly. That's the gray beams here, and that's one thing. You have just 4 screws on the bottom. You have all the hydraulic pipes and all the electric to disconnect and to reconnect for sure. After, you have also to replace the fuel tank through an electrical cabinet where you have the high voltage and the low voltage cabinets.
Yep.
But I would say on this part it's really easy. You do not have to start to pull away all the coverings and everything. You have just replaced the power pack.
Sure.
So here we are in front of the high voltage cabinets. So this is mounted on rubber mounts for the vibration, etc. And if you're opening here the doors, so it's really according to the latest standards. All the electric machines now we are doing CSA certification, UL certification, also in the different countries, for example Australia. And after we are also following international standards like ISO. And for the electricity, it's the IEC standards. So you have also the possibility to lock down the cabinets because that's mandatory. And after, you have here security sensors. You have the bar to disconnect the machine. And here you see the transformer for the 400 volt, because we are using 400 volt also for the AC and for different other things. And after, we have also a 24 volt for everything what is relating to the display, to the different sensors, to the supply directly on the machine. So here you have all the transformer inside, and this is just normal state of the art.
So we're in here. This is part of the grease system. It's a lot more common on these larger machines. We see this on some smaller machines, but not necessarily as common. You want to talk about this a little bit?
So all our mining machines have an automatic greasing system installed, and all our machines have always 2 different drums installed. We have one big drums which is for the attachment. The name is the white grease because it's standard grease, and we have another one which is black grease, which is using for the teeth of the slewing, because the black grease has some graphite and molybdenum, some solid particle inside.
Sure.
You need for the pressure you have on the teeth. And for the white grease, which is, I would say, a normal and a basic grease, is really used for all the attachment and all the joints and the pivot points.
Yeah.
This is all refilled from the service station on the back. So when you have to do the refilling of the different fluids, you have a service station on the back on the ground. It's accessible from the ground.
We saw that up there when we were just up on the deck.
And you can refill the greasing system, both grease drums, the hydraulic oil, the splitter box oil, etc., etc. The string box oil, for example.
It's all very, very serviceable, which again is clearly
it's a must. It's a must. You cannot come here. You have 200 kilogram grease here in this drum. The consumption is approximately every 2.5 weeks. You have to refill it. You cannot ask the guy to come with a drum and start manually to it. Yeah.
And as we stand here, we're standing on this grate, but this tank goes below the floor here by another foot and a half. So this is a substantial tank. It's not something you'd be doing by hand.
Yeah. You can also notice here again all the electrical wirings, how they are installed, especially because of the MDG15. You have also a filter here for the greasing system, because when you are filtering, when the guy are starting to re-put grease into the drums, sometimes they are just having the nozzle before in the dirt and everything, so you have contamination. And because after the injectors they're very sensitive to pollution, we have a filter in front of each grease drum.
Sure.
You can also see on the back here, on the bottom part, you can see some covers. So you can also open the covers when the guys are cleaning and washing the machine, so you can just bring all the dirt and the dirt and the water out.
Sure.
It's really important.
We see that again in this compartment as well.
Yeah, and here, this galvanized part here, that's just for the windscreen washer system.
That's a very large tank.
Yeah, you must have a decent size.
Of course.
So here on the top, you see also the silent blocks for the cab.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it's a steel structure, and after you have the rubber inside.
Sure. So let's head back outside. So this is going to wrap up with the 9400. You can see the cab that we saw, the greasing compartment directly below it, the deck up above, and the engine compartment right down below that. So thank you guys for watching, and we hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for showing us around.
Thank you. Hope you enjoyed the show.